Hey, Jordan fam.
What's up, y'all? Friends, supporters, followers. How y'all doing?
It's y'all's favorite Instagram couple, Ty and Daevion.
And or your soon-to-be favorite Instagram couple.
Yes, or your soon-to-be favorite Instagram couple.
Yeah, so as y'all know, we've been a lot of different things. Y'all have either seen us in media, on Facebook, on Instagram. Those are probably the main outlets.
YouTube.
Now YouTube, a bunch of different things that we're doing. But we wanted to take you all on just a part of our journey and seeing how we are not only as a couple, but building our family, building the community, building our relationships with each other. And just have y'all here to witness that. So the way we're going to get into these videos and the way we're going to format these videos are a bit different than we've seen before. Right now, we're going to start off our first video with the questions that we've been asked and the things that y'all want to know about us moving forward. If there's anything y'all want to know, go ahead and post it in the comments. Don't forget to hit that bell so you get a notification anytime we post a new video, and subscribe. So we can continue to make these for y'all and have this be a really, really good thing. For not only us, but for everybody else. Yeah, what else do you want to say?
We are going to open the pool for y'all to tell us what you guys would like to be called.
Yeah, so people have been called something something nation. People have been called
like Beyonce got the Beehive.
Well, not Beyonce, y'all, but
what y'all want to be?
Y'all can be the TD Hive. That sounds weird, but like something. Y'all figure out what you want to have yourselves be called. We really do want to honor and support the love that we're receiving and that we're getting. And
the Air Jordans.
Wow, I don't want to get in trouble for that one, but y'all figure out what y'all want to be called and what the name should be. So go ahead and comment also a bunch of different things that y'all think could work. And then we'll kind of go through and poll some of the ones that we thought were really cool that have come out. Get creative with it. We'll see what that is. And then additionally, like I said, the channel's going to be about the questions that you want answered. Additionally, our message is just come along with us, see what we're doing, see what we're about. And in no way is this a channel where our views are the only view out there, but we just want to give you an option to see what something different is like and what it's been like for us being in our relationship. And we'll actually get into that right now. Sound good? What's the first question you want to answer, Bebe?
We are going to answer the $1 million question that we get asked all the time. Which is, how did we meet? Where did we meet? Who asked who out? And the whole 9 yards.
Okay. So I'm going to let him tell his version of the story first, because we have two very completely different versions of how we met, but how we got together, who asked who, this, that, and the other thing.
I'm not going to go into the one that you don't like when I say.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to do that.
So the way that I know that we met, so Ty started transitioning way before I did. And we had a mutual friend in common, and that friend was my best friend at the time. And I told this friend, I was like, yeah, I think I'm trans. Like, where do I go from here? He was like a gay guy, like a cis gay guy. So he had no idea. He was like, I don't know. But I do know this guy that I go to school with. His name's Ty. He's really cool. You should talk to him. Also, you guys kind of look alike. And I was like, okay. We don't look alike, but people do. So, well, Ty and that person came and picked me up from work one day. Ty was in the car,
In
the summertime. This was like summer of 2016.
Yeah, 16.
2016 summertime. Ty's little cute self was in the car, and him and the other guy came pick me up, and me and Ty were talking a little bit, like, hey, like, what doctor do you go to? Like, where should I start? Because I was already seeing a therapist at the time. I made diagnosed for gender dysphoria, but I didn't know what doctor to go to. And Ty's like, yeah, go to this doctor. He's really great. You should go to him too. So got me in contact with that doctor, set my appointment. And then we talked about like name change and all that. And yeah, that was how we met. And we hung out that one time. And then we hung out that one time.
It's like twice.
We hung out that one time. And then maybe I want to say a year later, No, I'll take that back. A couple months later, once I did have my first, once I took my first shot, I did like text Ty super happy, like, hey, I did my first shot, whatever. Couple months after that, we actually talked again, and Ty was like, you should come over, we should hang out, we should talk about some stuff, because I was like really curious about packing, so I was like, who better to talk to than Ty? So came over to his house, we hung out, talked about packing, played cards, and then I went home that night, because I had to work the next day at like 6 a.m. And then we didn't talk for like years after that.
Not even.
Okay.
Dramatic ass.
It was about a year later. Okay, not a year. It was
a year. It was several months had passed.
Several months have passed.
It wasn't all the way up to a year, but it was several months had passed.
Several months have passed, and I was having top surgery, and I seen Ty at a Pride event.
We got together when I was post-op to talk about surgery and whatnot, because you saw my scars. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. But that was the same time. We did FaceTime.
We FaceTime.
We FaceTime, like, okay, we did. And then months later, seen him at the Pride event, and I was like,
yeah,
hey.
At Volunteer
Trans
Park.
Pride. Trans Pride.
No, it was Volunteer Park.
Oh. It was some Pride event.
There's a lot of Pride
I was
in Seattle.
like, hey, I'm having top surgery in 2 days. He's like, yeah, I seen, congratulations. And then didn't hear from him after that. And then I had top surgery.
Y'all, he was so butthurt.
And
we'll talk about it. He was so butthurt. This is the thing that he said he didn't want to talk about. This is the thing.
I had top surgery, and Ty texted me and said, hey, dude. He's like, hey, bro, hope you're doing well. I'm gonna come by and I'm gonna come by and see you. Send me your address. Sent him my address. No Ty, no show.
I'll respond in my.
I was so sad because at that time I was going through a lot, and I really, really wanted to be Ty's friend, but it didn't seem like he wanted to be my friend. And then he said he was gonna come see me. He didn't. My feelings was very, very hurt. And
as you can see, still are hurt.
Still a little hurt. But, yeah, that's how we met, and the whole 9 yards.
No, it's not. So, my rendition of the story. So, originally, when him and I first met, the mutual friend that we had trashed us to the other one. So, there was an element where I didn't know this person super well in the middle of the two of us, that mutual friend, but I also didn't know D from Adam. Like, I didn't know who he was, what he was about, if I wanted to get to know him, if I didn't want to get to know him. And so when you got somebody in your ear telling you all these things and you really don't know this person super well, I'm an organizer in Seattle. So a part of my go-to is to get somebody the access to their resources and then let that be what it is. I don't expect that you want to be my friend or that you want anything else from me. I'm just trying to get you connected as soon as possible to the things that you need. And so he was like, oh yeah, y'all should talk. So I was like, okay, cool. So we talked, and that was it. I wasn't really looking into it as a friendship because I wasn't sure what he wanted out of a relationship, and even if like that was a relationship that I wanted to have. And so the year moved on. We both I just kept hearing like trash about him, and I was like, okay, I'm not like super interested. I was like, he's probably on his own journey, doing his own thing. Like, it's not a big deal. But more importantly, stuff in the middle, I was like, why are you so concerned? Like, why are you worried? If that's what he's gonna do, that's his life. Like, let him do what he's gonna do. It wasn't like he was doing anything crazy destructive, but he didn't agree with his relationship. He didn't agree with this, that, and the other thing about D. And so I was like, this isn't my place. I don't know the guy super well. I don't really know you too well. Like, it's just, it is what it is. I'm happy to meet him, talk to him, hang out. Like, that's just what that is.
That's interesting that you say you didn't know him that well, because apparently y'all was best friends.
To him, we were best friends. To me, I was like, I don't know you super well. We could hang out. I mean, we lived in the same dorm. That was part of like the way that we got connected, but it wasn't like, oh, we're connected, let's be super tight. So time moves on. We get him connected to the same doctor. We get him started taking testosterone. Like, we're moving through things, kind of checking in with each other at various points, but never really had like developed a full-on like relationship or friendship for that matter. And then he was right. I did message him to try to like, congratulations on your top surgery. It's a huge milestone for you. I would love to come by and see you. At that point in my life, a lot of different things had been going on for me, and I totally spaced and did not remember that at all. My other thinking was I had saw a bunch of different things from him on like Snap and a bunch of different things on social media, and he had all these people there. So I was like, I don't want to overwhelm him. I was really overwhelmed after surgery. I'll just like hang back. I don't really know him too well either, so I don't want to just show up in a space that could be really intimate for somebody and be like, hey, how's it going? And like want them to feel like they have to entertain me. And I was dealing a lot of like with my own stuff, so in that moment, I wasn't super like, let me just be in his space. I was like, damn, he has a lot of people around him. Let me not be a part of that group of people. I didn't know how important it was for him because I didn't think we had that connection. But to him, it was a big deal because he really wanted to be friends. In my mind, I had it with friends that year, so I wasn't really looking for anybody or wasn't really trying to make it something that it wasn't because I didn't want my feelings to get hurt. Like, oh, let's be friends. And it's like, I'm cool, bro. Like, I don't really want to. And y'all get to see on this channel probably more emotion from him than you will ever see in person. Because he didn't let on in that moment at all. Like, he's smiling now. He didn't let on in that moment at all that he wanted to be friends, wanted to be anything. It was like, yo, bro, like, we should be friends. Like, it wasn't like anything the only super
trans person that I knew. And I was like, okay. And I really, like, aspired to be like you. I was like, when I transition, Ty is exactly who I want to be like. And so for him not to, like, want to be my friend, I was upset.
But see, he didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. And the other part, though, I think is huge to just mention in this channel is that you have no idea who you influence. I had no idea I was that person in his life. Like and you'll never hear that from anybody. Some people may reach out and be like, hey, bro, I saw your shit. Like, that's really cool. I'm glad that you're doing that. It gave me a lot of inspiration to do the things that I'm doing now. And they're watching you silently. They won't say anything. I had no idea that that's what it was for me. I had no idea that it wasn't idolization, but there was an admiration there. Like, yo, you're doing really great shit, and I really want to, like, show you that I want to be a part of that. And part of that was, like, my burnout and organizing. The other part of that was hurt and trauma from friendships. And so I didn't really pick up on something. And I'm somebody who's really direct. Like, you got something to say to me, say it to me. And so because we never had that conversation, I just was like, oh, okay, it may not matter if I'm there or not. Like, I'm a nobody, like a little nobody in his life. I had no idea how big it was to me. So that just goes to say what you mean what you say. But also, you never know who's watching. You never know who's thinking about you and waiting for you to do well so that they get permission to do well themselves. So fast forwarding, we move a year or maybe months later, a little less than a year down the line, and no, it wasn't.
Wait, after I had top surgery?
It was months
June,
later.
July,
like
August.
A month.
It was like 2 months later.
Yeah, 1 or 2 months later.
I went through a really bad breakup, and then right after that breakup, I got into another relationship. After coming out of this relationship for like almost 4 years, I got like a month later got into a new relationship, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be in this relationship. Like, how do I get out of this relationship? And I used Ty as...
I was a patsy.
Yes, I used him as... Because I seen that he was going to an event. And at this point, I realized, like, okay, I need to turn my life around. I need to do something that's good. Because I've been doing so much bad stuff that, okay, I need to do something good. I seen that he was going to this, like, community trans event. And I was like... I've always wanted to be friends with Ty. I was like, this could be the perfect time that I need to leave all my other friends and start new with new friends. I was like, okay, I messaged Ty and I was like, hey, are you still going to this thing? Like, I would love to go with you. And he's like, yeah, like, of course, the more the merrier. And I was like, okay, yes. Also needing that to get away from my ex-girlfriend because I was like, hey, I can't come over because I'm hanging out with somebody already.
And since that day, we've been inseparable, thick as thieves from that day.
Spent that night, and then...
What was that, July 15th?
Like July 15th. Yeah, July 15th of 2017?
17.
Yeah.
16, 17?
2017.
One of those.
Yeah.
But the 15th has become very significant to us, y'all. Very significant, because that was also the day that we went out on our first date. So that was moving forward. But the way that the relationship spanned and the way the relationship started, I wasn't looking at him, oh, he's so fine, he's so cute.
Yeah, I thought Ty was also, oh, he's cute, like, he's a cute trans guy, but we were both like, okay.
We really did. We started off as friends doing everything together. We went back to school together because we thought that was the move. It wasn't the move. But we thought that was the move. We thought that we were trying to get jobs together. We both went through a major depression haul. There was like a couple months where we were both I don't know if suicide was in there, but we were definitely both very just out of it. Nothing was happening the way that we anticipated. We weren't where we wanted to be in life. We weren't where we wanted to be physically. We weren't where we wanted to be emotionally. There's so many different things happening. A point in that, I had gone off of T to figure out stuff with my fertility. He went with me to all those appointments, even before we were ever together, just as my best friend. So he saw my butt for the first time. He lied to me and told me he didn't.
Yeah, he came out the bathroom.
Came out the bathroom and I had to be like,
D, don't look.
I said, D, turn around.
And when you tell someone not to look,
you tell him not to look.
They're gonna look.
It was supposed to be consensual, and he looked at my butt, and he didn't tell me.
No, I didn't look to the last second because I thought he already got into the hospital bed.
He told me this.
All I seen was like him like. And then lay it back down.
Saw my whole booty, y'all. I have a cute butt, but the fact that he just was like...
But I don't even remember because I seen it, but I like vaguely seen it. I see your booty all the time, so now I know what it looks like. But before, like, it was like a glimpse. I was like, oh, I got a cute little butt.
Ass happened so fast. Anyhow, so just going through all these appointments, we really started just grounded and rooted in friendship and supporting the other through a lot of different things, but always wanting the other one to do well, no matter what it was, just wanting them to do well. One of my favorite experiences, we went to an ACLU dinner that Laverne Cox spoke at in Seattle, and I really wanted him to get dressed up with me and go. Like, I wanted us to get fancy, get all cute and whatever, and go to this thing. And I wanted that for him as my best friend. He said he never went to prom. He said he never got dressed up. He said these were experiences that never happened for him. So I was like, bro, this would be dope if we could do that. And his mentality was like, I don't really, like, I don't want to do that. So I was like, we're going to do the thing. So we went and we got fitted for suits. And when he initially tried the suit on, he was like, okay, like, this is cool, whatever. I was like, you're going to feel a lot better. Because, y'all, I don't know what haircuts do for you, but you be feeling like it. Look at him. You be just feeling all sorts of brand new with a haircut. So it was like, okay, cool. I was like, just wait till you get a haircut. We're going to put these suits on. We're going to feel like $1 million. I was like, trust me. So we go fit these suits. We go do this and the other thing. I had family working at the suit place, so we got discounted and all this stuff. And we go to go get our haircuts. We pick up our suits. We go and put them on. Y'all, we killed it. That event was incredible. It was the first time I saw him all dressed up. I was like, oh, look at him. And we took this photo. It's on one of our Instagrams. I don't remember whose it is. There's two of them right now because we haven't decided what we want to do yet. But there's two of them right now. And there's an Instagram photo of he's taking the photo from like behind me, but his hand is up here and I'm like fixing my jacket. So we look like we're actually taking a prom photo. It's insane. It was weird the way that it happened. And people like, a prom photo, and just a lot of different things. So that was one of my favorite moments when we first got together. It's like we're trying new things. I was getting comfortable trusting people again because I had a really rocky year with friendships. I had a really rocky year with relationships. I was over trying to connect with people. I just wanted to focus on me. And here he comes at a time where we're both trying to focus on ourselves, and I think that was so needed. So needed.
We both focused on ourselves, and we needed a friend rather than, because we were trying to focus on ourselves, still lingering with possible like romantic relationships, but we just needed a friend. And so that was and so like the question of like who asked who out first, we didn't really ask anyone out. Literally, we started as friends. None of like, we weren't thinking about dating.
Yeah, there was nothing romantic, there was nothing sexual, there was nothing that was in the remote way of like people like, oh, they look cute, I want to like spend the game and try to talk to this person. There was no like, oh, they're actually like, oh, this would be kind of cute. Like, we've been friends for a long time, and we'll just see what happens. Like, none of that happened. It was more so
it was found one drunk night that started everything.
Not even one drunk night. We're not there yet. But the way that everything kind of ended up moving, I think we came to each other at a point in our life where we were ready to be in each other's lives. Because we always talk about like, well, why not the friendship? Like, what made it so that the friendship like didn't happen earlier? I don't think we would have liked each other earlier. Honestly, the person that I was, the person that he was, the places that we were in life, it just wouldn't have worked out. That would have fizzled out, gone. Like, it wasn't meant to be at that time.
I was not ready to elevate in life.
Yeah, we definitely changed each other for the better. Like, we definitely figured out how to balance each other. Yes. We definitely figured out how to balance each other. In ways that we never anticipated and or had experienced in any other relationship, but not looking for one. We started off as friends, and the drunk night that he's talking about, we went Well, even before that, we went to my aunt's birthday party, and we had
no, that was after.
No, that was before.
No, because remember you said on the dance floor, you were like, if you come on the dance floor, you were like, come dance, and he was like, come dance, and I will do some stuff.
No, not at all.
That's exactly what you said. It was after. It was after. Cause I
don't remember that.
It was after.
That party was in March.
Before what you're talking about is when we were at that barbecue and we were like, could we date? Because at that point everyone kept asking
that was
us.
at Lulu's party.
No, babe. I can show you. It was
no,
not.
It's not.
It was.
He'll tell his side of the story in a second. What I remember is essentially we were at a party and a community member had asked us, are y'all dating? And we looked at each other and we're like, no. And they're like, are you sure? And we're like, yeah, we're kind of sure we're not dating. They're like, interesting. And from that moment on, it kind of, that was, I don't know what moment he's talking about, but that was a moment for me that it clicked. Like, what do you mean? So our 75-pound German Shepherd decided to lay on the stand. The camera's on right now. So hence the wallowing is there for a second. But in that moment, that was the moment that clicked for me. I never thought about him like that. Like I never thought about dating him. I was open to my attraction being to whoever, but I didn't anticipate dating my best friend. Period.
The way that I think it happened after the one part. It did because remember when they asked and we started laughing. We started laughing because of what was happening at the point. No, literally,
we were not together.
We weren't dating.
Anyhow, continue.
But we was together. The conversation of should we date, what like could we possibly date, was at the barbecue that my mom took us to. We talked about it for we were outside playing basketball. And so
that wasn't that conversation. That was a conversation after a long weird. I'm not talking about that drunk night. I was talking about the first drunk night that ever led to anything. That's the drunk night I'm talking about.
Yes, at what's their name's birthday party.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your mom's barbecue thing happened after that night. Whatever that night was. Y'all, there's discrepancy, and he's out here lying. He's out here lying.
Oh my god.
Anyhow.
Okay, let's fast forward. Nobody asked anybody out. It kind of just happened. After that happened, it was like, could we do this thing? These are the kind of terms of if we do date, this is what's going to happen. I asked Ty out on our first date, though. I was like...
No, he didn't ask me out. He told me he was going to be the one planning our first date, and he didn't want me to plan one. So I was like, okay, fine.
Okay, or that.
Yeah. Or that.
So, what?
I'm trying to find it, y'all.
So we did everything in the back. Another question was, how do y'all avoid dysphoria during intimate moments? And how do we avoid dysphoria? We actually never really talked about sex before it happened. It was the first night that we ever did.
The very first time we ever talked about it. Yes, we did. We talked about what our parameters were, what we were okay with.
But
we
didn't even know that was gonna happen the first night it happened. We didn't talk about it. It just kind of...
Not that night. I'm talking about the other night.
Yeah, after that we did. But the first time we didn't talk about it.
That's in a relationship. Impromptu, we did talk about things as friends that we were and were not comfortable with. So we did not just enter into a sexual relationship being like, okay, let's just do whatever and have the other person feel unsafe. It was definitely informed by other conversations we had previously. So it wasn't like, we're in a relationship, let's have this conversation. It was like, we've had these conversations before. Now that we are in a relationship, these are the things that we know are do's and don'ts, and we work through them as they came up.
Okay, I'm talking about
punk.
We talked about it yeah, we did. Okay, we talked about it as it came up, what we were comfortable with, but I mean, it was a lot easier when you're dating another trans person to kind of pinpoint, because it's based on I mean, everyone has a different preference, how they use their body or how they use their parts. But it was because we're both very, I guess, masculine it was kind of a lot easier to like, okay, like we know like ask like what's comfortable for us, like we kind of like based it on that, and just talking with the other person.
Y'all, I'm really trying to find the day.
Literally.
I'm not gonna find it.
But
But
you know, what else do you have to say?
Navigating dysphoria during incident time. I think we've definitely given each other a lot of space as it pertains to just how we feel and what we do want to happen and what we're comfortable experimenting with or exploring or how we want to do that, as opposed to being like, okay, I'm the super masculine, because people assume that in our relationship all the time. So we're just going to get into that now. There's no top or bottom in our relationship. There is no dominant or submissive in our relationship. Like, that's not how a relationship works. It is truly a partnership. And I think when people see us together, they want to know like who wears the pants, who pays for this, who opens doors, who's typically like in the more mask position and who's in the more femme position, assuming that there's polarity in those, and I don't think there is in our relationship. I think it's definitely a balance of just how the other person feels and who does what. We both do literally everything together, from the laundry to the dishes to the cleaning to the dogs to everything, and are comfortable picking up where our partner is not there that week. It's a long week, it's a hard week, whatever that is. So navigating dysphoria in this way, in the way that connects, is because I didn't innately assume my masculinity was tied to my position in sex or in conversation or in communication. That wasn't at all what it was. It was like, okay, we both have something different we want to talk about, or we both have something different we want to feel, or we both have something different that we want to communicate. How do we communicate that well? So I don't think I've had a dysphoric moment during sex or just intimately with him, because of how honest and how open I've been able to be with him throughout the entirety of our relationship, friendships, and beyond. Y'all, he's trying to show you his new muscles. He's very proud of his body.
Flexing my narrow ass chest with this miniature ass show with us.
Amara will appreciate that.
How did we meet? We already talked about that. How did we navigate
comfort zones as trans men in a gay relationship?
Oh, how did we navigate
comfort
zones as trans men in a gay relationship? I cannot read that. You want to talk about it?
Well, I think this has a couple different ways it can be applied, so I'm gonna like answer it the way that I perceived it. Additionally, if somebody else that did write the question, if you wanted to elaborate in the comments, feel free. I think people, he's waving an eye. I think people assume that we're cis, more so him than me, but like assume that we're cis. And so we get a lot of like the black gay stereotypes. So that, I don't know what that is, but the flamboyance or the y'all are this type of couple or someone's a top and some stuff. We get a lot of like just gay stereotypes all around. People don't know that we are still very much like attracted to women. Like that doesn't.
Yeah, people assume because we're.
Oh God.
Oh my God, what is that? People assume because we are two guys dating that we aren't into women, and that is not the case at all.
Yeah,
a lot of very much into women.
The folks in community still think that like blackness and gayness and cisness and transness and all the nesses are in monolithic experiences. Like they're happening in a vacuum. Nobody ever said that we're two black gay men. Like that's not what happened. But because we're dating each other, people assume that that's the only part of our experience that like is it. Leave it alone, baby. It's not gonna hurt you.
I don't know what it is.
But yeah, people assume that's our experience. So comfort in the community, people embrace us most of the time. Just fighting a fly, y'all. Most of the time, I think because we're so palatable in the way that like we're light skinned, we're really cute, we're educated, we look and dress very well. Like these things offer us ability to.
Baba, can you not?
Bubba, get up, go somewhere, Between the fly and the dog, y'all are getting all of it tonight. Just everything.
Sorry, he's knocking it. Bring it down.
But yeah, I think we get a lot of comfort with us, and that's great. But I strongly believe that we wouldn't be as embraced with our layer of trans identity if we didn't look and sound and act and are the way that we are. navigating comfort in the community, I think there's a lot of false senses of security. People think, oh, because we're gay friendly, we're trans friendly, and that's not at all the case. And most of the time, I think people don't realize that it could actually indeed mean the opposite. A lot of people have an idea of like what Black gay men are supposed to do, or what they're supposed to look like, or how they're supposed to dress, or how they're supposed to act. And not that these stereotypes are okay, but that gets imposed on us in the relationship that we're in, and so that makes it makes that harder to navigate. So as far as comfort, I think it's made people emboldened because I think they feel that they can act and say and do whatever they want, as they would to other Black gay men, and that's just not the case for either of us. What else in regard to comfort in gay community?
Oh no, you touched on all of it.
How have you navigated the gay community, and do you feel supported?
How have we navigated the gay community?
It's weird.
I feel like we were just thrown into the gay community.
Like, we were thrown into it.
Because I guess before you transition, you're in the other gay community. And then after you transition, now you're in the male gay community. And the male gay community is very different
than a mask, like female gay community.
The male gay community is very aggressive. Very, very aggressive.
Well, in your experience, it's been aggressive.
In our experience, it's been very aggressive.
Well, aggressive is one word I would use. I would say there's not as much. You know what people are thinking when they look at you. Like, they'll tell you. Like, you're very much. And it's not even just in, like, I guess, yeah, in the gay community, including all different folks from all different umbrellas. And it's not like gay people, it's just us. Like, it's everybody. Anybody on the LGBTQIA, elemental P, ABCD, like anybody on that spectrum is folks that we interact with all the time. But being on one side of the community versus being on the other, like now we won't get approached by women at all. Like, we'll have people, oh my God, they're so cute, but they won't ever like approach us romantically. Most of the time it's like a sexual approach is what happens. But there's never, like, that doesn't happen. We'll get approached now more than ever by guys that are like, oh my God, you guys are so cute. You guys are this, you guys. A lot of unwarranted flattery, a lot of unrequited, like, nobody, like, initiated this. There was a lot of, like, grabbing or a lot of, like, pulling or a lot of that. So I would say...
But, like, stereotypically, the gay community, like, cis gay community is very sexual. And that's how...
It's perceived to be very
It's
sexual.
perceived to be. Because you have Grindr, everyone wants to hook up, And so when we entered that community, it was like now, I guess people kind of, not assumed, but they were very like...
That's what they expected from us.
Yeah, that's what they expected of us. But that's not like what it was at all.
That's not what we're giving.
No.
At all. Not at all. No. And then that doesn't go to like shade the gay community or anything like that, but it was just a very different world that we were entering into that we hadn't been a part of previously, and that in fact we were excluded from because of our presentation. People were like, "But y'all are just, like, what are y'all doing?" And so there was a lot of like, okay. And then there's a point where we weren't old enough to enter into a lot of these spaces are non-sober spaces. A lot of it is bars. A lot of it is clubs, a lot of it is like nightlife, and so having not been old enough to experience that either, there's a very different level of access you have to the different communities that we're a part of now.
Do we feel supportive? I personally feel very, very supported within the
like gay and queer community.
The queer community. I feel very, very supportive. If it's not social media, you guys are very, very supportive of us, and we very much appreciate you guys because we are here and we're queer and we're down for the beer. No,
we don't drink beer. I don't know why he would say that.
But y'all, no, for we really are, like, we're here for you guys. When we started dating, it was very scary. We were like, okay, how are we going to navigate our relationship. Like, are we going to be very public about it? Like, are we going to be very private? We were like,
I don't do social media, y'all.
And Ty doesn't do social media, but he has done it very much more than he has ever done it before. Right.
Because of him.
And so
it's one of his love languages that
we decided that it's very rare that you will see two trans guys like in a relationship, and a healthy relationship. Like you see a trans guy, you see a cis guy, you see a trans woman, you see a trans guy, you see a trans guy, you see a cis woman, but like never two trans men.
Black trans men
at that. And so we were like, no, we should definitely be very, what's it called?
I think it's more open than anything. I don't think we decided to be visible about it. I think we just decided to bring people along or show people our journey. And what was funny is that we simultaneously began to notice other people entering into trans, like, mask relationships with other trans mask folks, which I thought was very interesting. Because before we had went public, it wasn't that it was private, but before we had let folks, like, into our world and into our lives together, we didn't see that like pop up much of anywhere on Instagram, on Facebook, anywhere. And now I'm noticing more and more trans guys, like whether that's a relationship with a cis male, with a non-binary person, with another trans man, like whatever that is, really being open to exploring their sexualities and understanding that their masculinity is not directly tied to genitalia, nor is it directly tied to your attraction to people. And I think when you first start transitioning, so this is for all the baby trans out there, all the baby queers, all the people that are like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure this stuff out. You don't have to do anything one specific way. You don't have to like somebody to validate your transness of the opposite sex. Like, you don't have to. I have to like women because I'm a trans man. Or I have to like men because I'm a trans woman. Or I'm a non-binary person, so I don't know who to like. Like, you like whoever you want, but that is say nothing directly about your femininity, your masculinity, or your holding of both or neither. Like that's not for anybody else to say but you, and don't limit yourself on the basis of what you think other people are expecting from you. Like that, the only person you're hurting there is you.
But only enter into those relationships when you are ready. Because if you're not ready and you're trying to get into a relationship that you're not used to or you're not comfortable with, you could end up hurting the other person because you can end up hurting them and hurting you in the end. So just making sure that you're comfortable with yourself. And I think that's what it took both of us, is like getting comfortable with ourselves and within our masculinity and like understanding what being a male and what a man means to us, and that it doesn't directly tie to who we're dating, because I feel like a lot of trans guys have that assumption, like pre-T, all I did was date women because that's just they made me feel more whatever, or that's who I was attracted to, so now I can't because then that's gonna make me whatever. That's very, very toxic. Toxic masculinity is a no-no.
On the other part of
just understanding yourselves and like and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, well, and the other part about that is understanding that your attraction to transitioning can change. There's nothing that's not saying that if you've been attracted to women prior to transitioning that you won't be attracted during and or after. There's no end to this. Like, this is just your life now. But that doesn't mean as life goes on that your attraction won't change or won't stay the same. But be open to, because your body is going through so many changes and your mental is going through so many changes, there will be a point where you begin, hopefully, healthily, we begin to disassociate genitalia with masculinity. We'll begin to disassociate. My body has to look a certain way in order for me to feel masculine. There are messages that you're being fed. I gotta get shredded, and I gotta do this, and I gotta that, and I have to surgery this, and the hormones this, and the. You don't have to do any of that. There's an element where you can take this slow and figure that out, and different people have access to different things. So just remember that in that will change, and that's okay, and it can change. That doesn't mean for everybody it'll change. Some people are like, yeah, I've just been attracted to whoever I've been attracted to since the beginning. Some people are like, man, this has really changed for me. I don't know what to do now. Because then some people are shook. It is okay. It can change, and it's possible that it will change. That's just your humanness happening. Be able to digest that and roll with that and move through that, but don't stop yourself from feeling those things or moving through those things. It will be more damaging in the end. More damaging than it ever should be. So just being really aware of that and being open to that conversation is huge.
we love getting messages, Snapchats from other people saying like, wow, you guys have really opened my mind, or you guys have made me feel very comfortable within myself to date within
the
community and like get out of my own head. And so, yes, we appreciate you guys and we love you guys.
How did you navigate your attraction changing as you transition? I mean, we covered that a little bit. I think holding the we can break it up. I think holding the like, okay, this is okay. Like, it's fine. It happens, and it can happen. But I think the more important part of us, like, continuing to decide to be visible after we've received so much support is understanding that we still are who we are. Like, that doesn't change because of who we're attracted to. But the other part is we're comfortable enough to explore that with each other. So there's an element for the two of us that is very different, because we've decided to make it different and we've chosen for it to be different. Navigating the attraction changing. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. For sure. What about you?
So I feel like we've covered it already in the past questions, and so I agree with 100% what you just said. Sorry, I'm just making sure there's no more other questions that we missed, because a lot of you guys have asked like the same questions over and over and over.
A lot of people want to ask some of the similar things.
And so we tried, because a lot of the questions that we've asked have kind of been similar. So we were trying to like break them up and how can we like word them to be different.
So that should probably do it for this video. Those with the questions that we have been asked. This video is literally just under 45 minutes long. So yeah, tap through, take a look at it, see what it is that you think. We definitely want y'all to submit your questions, your comments, so we can keep making videos based on content that you want to know, and we'll also be updating with the things that we are really into, whether that's us redoing our house, which will be happening very soon, doing this remodel in our apartment, whether that's a new puppy. He wants a puppy, I don't know why, but if he gets a new puppy,
love puppies.
Just life. We're in the process of getting pregnant right now, so that whole thing, updating that, cars, we both have dreams of our own car and what we were expecting, starting our own business, just different things like that. So we will continue to keep y'all updated, whether that's date night and looking cute, whether it's we're having a debate and we want y'all to weigh in on what it is, but just know that y'all are a part of this journey with us, and all the good vibes are more than welcome, and we know that there's always people out there that are going to be naysayers or people that are not for us to support us. Much love to you too, because we know that you need it, and just keep it pushing. We want to keep this channel really positive, and really elevating for folks out there that really do need to hear something great and see something great. Anything else you might say, babe? Tough kiss. That's not. All right. Thanks, y'all. You good?
I'm good.
I'm good.